I'm going to be sharing with you in this video 3 huge secrets that I've personally found in my life that have allowed me to manifest things at a much faster rate. And I've noticed that when I'm not using these things, when I fall out of alignment, which I'm going to go a little bit deeper in this video, what I mean by that, what happens is that things start to slow down. And I notice that I just repeat the same things over and over and over. It's almost like there's no newness to the experience, and there's just a repeat and sort of like a loop that I get stuck in. And this affects every single area of my life. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 huge secrets that I personally believe to be huge secrets that I've found to manifesting anything that I want in my life. Now, it doesn't always happen right away. I'm not saying that I'm a master manifester by any means, but I think that these things are things that will allow you to manifest things at a much faster rate if you apply them in your life. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Now, the first thing I want to share with you is to not always be focused on the situation, the circumstances that you're experiencing, but to focus on the internal interpretation that you have of the circumstance. In other words, some people call it your vibration, the way that you feel about the circumstance, because the circumstances that we have in life are always going to be challenging. That's just the truth of the matter here, is that there's going to be challenges. There's going to be, trials and tribulations. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but there's going to be things that are challenging, that don't necessarily feel good. But a lot of the times, what doesn't feel good is not the circumstance, but the relationship that we have to the circumstance. And so when you start to change the relationship that you have to the experience that you're having, an experience that did not previously feel good can start to feel good, and you even sort of forget about the problem that you had because you're in what we call flow. When you're in that flow state, you are so sort of connected to what you're experiencing and that relationship that you have to it, which is no longer negative. You're just sort of experiencing it and fully embracing it. What happens is that you start to even forget about the problem, whatever situation that you were worried about, whatever you were really focused on, giving it all this energy to how do I fix this? How do I solve this issue? You kind of let it go. You focus on what you prefer from that space of not being in resistance to the present moment, and then it just falls away. And this is what we call vibrational control, at least what I call vibrational control. Not controlling the circumstance, but focusing on the vibration, the interpretation of the situation, and the level of consciousness that you're coming from in terms of how you're perceiving what you're experiencing. So the vibrational control is always going to be something you want to be focused on. Now look, life can happen in a way where it can become very challenging. And so you might need to sometimes slow down a little bit, stop focusing on all the vibrational stuff and just focus on the circumstances a little bit. Be a little bit more masculine, be a little bit more logical. But what you'll find is if you stay there too long, you just get stuck in the loop. So I'm not saying that you can't be a little bit more logical sometimes and not trust your feelings. Fully go into that masculine mode, maybe to fix some things that you need to fix, or just to be a little bit more logical because you feel that it's a safer route to do. Because if you feel like you have to be logical and think, oh, Francis told me that I need to be focused on the vibration, but you feel in your heart that you got to be a little bit more logical, then trust that. But I'm going to guarantee you that you're not going to want to stay there for too long, because what you'll find is that you just start to repeat the same experiences. It doesn't feel as good. It doesn't feel as amazing and blissful, and you don't feel as connected to your higher self and who you truly are as when you're focused on the vibration. So there's no really rules on how to live life. I don't want you to take what I'm saying and be like, okay, I need to be focused on the vibration 100% of the time because that's what Francis said. I personally fell into this trap before, and it leads me feeling disempowered because it's like, well, what if I don't want to focus on the vibration? What if I just want to be a little bit more logical and focus on the actual situation and be logical? then go for it. Do that. Fully embrace that desire. But again, I'm just going to tell you right now, you probably won't want to stay there for long, because being in alignment with your vibration aligns you with your higher self, which brings you to things that you want faster without you thinking about the how, and it just falls into place in a much easier way without you forcing it. But you just kind of trust the process and trust your vibration, and the vibration will always get you there. You don't take my word for it. Test this for yourself. Number two, what I want to share with you is, don't be afraid to let go of old patterns, okay? Because what happens is that when we're going through life, we can get stuck in doing the same thing over and over and over. And that's fine for a certain period of time, but what happens is that eventually the life will show you that it's very clear that you need to let go of something, that something's not working, whether this is a relationship, whether this is maybe some kind of a food that you're eating, maybe it's a habit that you're doing, maybe it's even a living space that you're in, right? I used to live in this condo recently, and I recently had to move back in with my parents because I just kind of felt that this living space just wasn't serving me any longer. It was even connected to my health issues. The environment that I was in wasn't supporting my health and what I wanted to accomplish, and it was just sort of, I could feel, even though I really liked that condo, I really loved living there, I just knew it was time to let it go because the environment wasn't supporting me. It wasn't allowing me to create what I wanted. The area was nice, but something about living in a condo, and that condo in general, just condos in general, I realized that I don't like to live in a high floor. I like to live close to the ground, to be grounded. That's just personally a preference that I've realized in my life. And this place that I'm in is grounded on the floor. I don't have to wait for the elevators to go outside for a walk. I can open the door and just go outside for a walk. To me, that's important. That's very important to me. And that actually, those small little changes can really help you. And the environment does create your experience in a lot of ways, because when you come into an environment and you surround yourself in an environment long enough, you become one with that environment. And if the environment is not an environment that you prefer, you will become one with that environment, and you will merge with that environment. You will take on whatever that environment has, however it is, and you will take on whatever it is, how the people act, the temperature, the entire sort of energy of that environment. You will take that on. And there's nothing wrong with any environment inherently, but if it's not your preference, and there's nothing wrong with any person inherently, but if it's not your preference, there's nothing wrong with any food inherently, but if it's not your preference and what you want to be experiencing, which is going to support your health, of course, because if you're not in alignment with your higher self and your preference, you'll receive signs that it's not for you. It's not something you truly want at the highest level. So the key is to not be afraid of letting go of old patterns that aren't serving you. If something's not serving you, don't be afraid to let it go. The mind will always give you ideas in terms of why you need to keep pushing in that direction. And you might even try to combine, this is a huge mistake that I found, you might try to use vibrational control and push in a certain direction because you logically know that that's what you should be doing, and you use the vibrational control to push in that direction. I'm sorry to say, but you can't do that. You either choose the vibration or you choose the circumstance. You cannot choose both. You can switch between those two energies, but at some point, you gotta say, if I choose vibrational control and my energy is telling me that this isn't serving me, when I consume this thing doesn't feel right, or when that might sound like situational control, but the energy will show you that that situation is not serving you. So it's the energy speaking. You're not really attached to the circumstance. If you're attached to the circumstance, you might keep pushing even more, and you might need to be doing something that's not serving you. So the key is, if you feel in your energy, deep in your heart space, deep in that vibrational control energy space, that something's not serving you, just let it go. Don't be afraid to let it go. Don't be afraid to let go of that person. Don't be afraid to let go of that living space. Don't be afraid to let go of eating that thing or whatever it is, because what's waiting for you on the other side of that thing that you're afraid to let go of is exactly the thing that you want to manifest, and it's going to come to you faster than ever, but you have to let go of what's not serving you. That's the key. You got to let go of what's not allowing you to get to where you want to go, and you can actually see that when you focus on the vibration, when you aren't afraid to let go of what's not serving you. And number 3, the last thing I want to share with you is you always want to be moving forward with your energy. So this is what I say, what I tell people, try not to stagnate as much as possible. You don't want to be in what I call a stagnated energy. You don't want to stagnate, because stagnation, what that means is that this is how life works. Life wants to keep moving forward. It wants the energy to flow. This is what you call the flow state. But life is flow. Life is moving forward all the time. But the ego, the mind, comes in the way and tries to block this flow by coming up with some ideas in terms of why it needs to stay where it is, why it needs to keep doing the same thing again and again and again and again, when it's so obvious that sometimes that thing is not working whatsoever. It's not serving you in any way possible anymore, any longer. Maybe at some point it served you, but then you get to the point where you realize, wait a second, this just isn't serving me. But you see, when you stay stuck because you believe you have to stay stuck, staying stuck is a belief, and because you keep doing that same thing that's not serving you, that's called stagnation, because you want to be moving forward, having new experiences, having this newness to every moment. Every moment really should be new. Some people go on vacation and try to change their space out of fear because they don't like where they are sometimes, but really that new feeling can happen at any moment. So it's every moment really is a new experience, right? Every moment is a new experience, but we can get into these ideas where we create the same thing. Now that might sound like I just contradicted myself, where you're saying, well, should I move spaces, or should I change, or should I not change? You see, you don't want to be focused on the circumstance. The energy and your inner heart, as cliche as that sounds, your vibration, your connection to your higher self, when you connect to that higher space, you'll know how to create that new experience every time. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is that moving forward does not depend on the circumstance. You can experience a new feeling, a feeling of newness, a feeling of connectedness, even if you live in the same space every single day or doing similar things every single day. But the place that you come from while you do those things, that's what creates that new experience. So it might, that, you moving forward might lead you to go on vacation or to enter a new space. But you don't necessarily have to be in a new space to get that feeling of newness. But the key is to focus on moving the energy. Not the circumstance, not the situation, but the energy. And the energy may lead you to change the circumstance. The energy may lead you to stay in the same circumstance, but do it a little bit differently in comparison to the way that you've already been doing it. To change the way that you're doing it, the place that you come from. So always, not always, but most of the times, pretty much always, when it comes to moving the energy forward, it's not about what's happening. It's not about the people in your life, although sometimes it can be. And it's not always about the food that you're eating, although a lot of times it can be as well. And it's not always about the habits that you're doing, although a lot of times it can be. It can or it can't be, depends, it all depends. But it's the place that you come from. And the reason why I'm so not black and white with what I'm trying to communicate here is because there's been times where all I had to do was change the place that I was coming from, do the exact same things that I've been doing, same actions, same foods, same people in my life, same exact thing, but I had to change the place that I was coming from, everything started to shift. Other times, the place that I came from led me to make a decision to change the people in my life, to change the circumstances in my life, to change the foods that I was eating. And then that's what needed to happen in order to move the energy forward. So as you can tell, I'm not giving you a one-size-fits-all answer. You gotta trust in the energy. You gotta trust in yourself. You gotta trust in what your inner being, what your higher self, what your true vibration is telling you. And with that, I conclude this video. Just to conclude this video, the 3 things that I've shared with you here are: number 1, vibrational control versus situational control. Number 2, don't be afraid of letting go of old patterns. Number 3, what you want to do is don't stagnate as much as possible. Always keep the energy moving forward. And once again, with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Please leave a like button so that more people can get access to this channel, because I do believe that every single person does get to know and should know how to create their reality and manifest exactly what they truly want and align with their higher self and get all the things that they truly want, benefiting themselves and benefiting others along the process. Also, leave a comment down below if you want to share something about this video. I love to read the comments. I read every single comment and I would love to hear about it. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.